The Gonzalez Venezuela sisters were born in El Salto, Jalisco. And I'm gonna go ahead and be warned. I'm gonna butcher names up, but I'm so please don't kill me in the comments for that. But anyway, they will later go on to be known as La Poquianchis. The four sisters consist of Delfina, Maria del Carmen, Maria Luisa, and Maria de Jesus. Some sources believe that Maria um, Luisa was the youngest and Maria de Jesus was the oldest. Their father, Isidro, was a shopkeeper who later became chief of police. Then their mom, Bonanita, was extremely religious to the point of instilling a cult-like worship to Catholic in their daughters. I'm not even going to attempt to say that word because I'm butchering it out for sure. Both parents were abusive in their own way. Their dad was an alcoholic and sexist man who abused his power as chief of police, and he forced the sisters to watch him as he tortured the people he arrested. He also would beat his daughters and have strict rules for them. He regularly used the cells he had access to as chief of police to punish his daughters. Carmen, the oldest, in an attempt to leave a dysfunctional family and an abusive environment, got together with a man who was much older and tried to run away. This made her father furious, and he found her, yanked her by the hair, hit her, and dragged her into a cell, where he, incarcerated her due to her indecent behavior. He went on with his normal shift, during which he unjustly shot a man. He went on the run after this, hiding in different ranches across Jalisco, and left Carmen in jail. She remained in jail for 14 months, and she was released by an older man, but only with the promise that she would marry him if he released her. So some accounts vary on this part, okay guys? So the family fled their hometown together, and the sisters were left to fend for themselves while their father was in hiding, and prompted them to add on to Venezuela to Gonzalez to dissociate them from their father. Carmen, she would go on to marry a 50-year-old grocer, but left him when she got pregnant. During that time, she was also a sex worker and concubine. She then met another much older man, Jesus El Gato Vargas, and then opened up a casino. But it was unsuccessful because El Gato spent most of their profit on alcohol. In their regular and perfectly legal canteen, Delfina, inspired by Carmen, decided that she would do the same, only she opened a brothel. So, once Delfina opened her brothel in El Salto, um, this was disguised as a regular canteen because there was less regulations from the big cities that made it easier to operate her illegal brothel. She had girls ranging from ages 12 to 15 kidnapped from nearby cities and forced them to work for her. Many of her customers were police officers, military officers, soldiers, and politicians. In 1948, due to the stricter laws, she was forced to close the brothel and then moved to San Juan de los Lagos and named it El Hall de Jordiaro de la Noche. This is where the other three sisters began helping with the business, and they were only in charge of the kitchen and collecting cash, and Carmen took it upon herself to sell makeup, clothes, and other personal objects to their employees. She sold these items and at obscene prices, making the workers indebted to them, essentially forcing them into servitude. 2 weeks after the opening, Delfina had enough money to move her brothel to San Francisco del Rincon, where the brothels were legal, and Here they sprawled a brothel that belonged to a man whose nickname was El Pockentiches. This was a name given to the sisters. Once the brothel was successful, Maria de Jesus took two of the girls imprisoned by Delfina, opened a brothel La Casablanca in Leon. Um, there she did what in which she did through bribes, both in money and sex. She had the same kind of clients that Delfina had, and as well as the local priest. You heard me, the local priest. Man, these sisters are messed up. They had enough girls for brothels. They kidnapped or tricked the girls in Jalisco. Even other states like Zacatecas and Mahoshan, aside from them being off the streets, they told the girls that they will be working as maids, even had the consent from their parents. Once the kidnapped girls arrived at the brothels, they were raped, showered in freezing water, drugged, and then put to work the same night. Once girls reached the age of 25, they were considered too old and were sent to Verdugo, and this was a man that would torture and beat them and then starve them to death. So, the sisters had many rules. They did not allow any kissing, any sexual acts between the girls, any anal sex. If a client requested it, they were banned from the brothel, and some sources say they were killed. Sisters had surveillance on the girls to ensure that this didn't happen, and if it did, they would be punished heavily by the law. So, there was they were forced to kneel with the bricks on their hand and were beaten to death or beaten with a bat on their nails attached to it, that they were starved. In 1963, the brothels became illegal, and the sisters moved their brothels back to Lagos de Morena. Here is where their downfall started. Delfina and Maria de Jesus Gonzalez, aka, or aka La. Okay, we're not even gonna try to pronounce that. Anyway, they were serial killers who were owners of a Mexican brothel. They had at least 91 and more victims ranging from 1950 to 1963. The victims include women, men, and fetuses, primarily prostitutes and their babies along with their male customers. Both the sisters were sentenced to 40 years in 1964. Delfina died October 17, 1968. Maria finished her sentence, dropped off the face of the earth. I tell you, this was like one of the harder cases that I actually, like when it came to researching, like it was harder to find stuff on them. Like, so Delfina and Maria were so there's like many sources, like from investigations, it revealed that the scheme was that they would recruit prostitutes through the help wanted ads, and they would state the girls would become maids for two sisters. So, and a lot of them like developed drug habits and all of this, guys. Like, this is crazy. But yeah. But what do y'all think? Like, do y'all think these sisters were messed up? Do you think it was their childhood that brought them like that? As most you know, I love serial killers. I love the reason behind why they do it, however. Like, I think it's personally like from their childhood, that's what all they knew, basically. Abuse. But anyway, that's it for today's episode. I will see y'all next time as we come back to the States and we talk about a case here in the state I recently moved to back in June. And probably had to leave because anyway. I will see y'all next time. Y'all have a great night.